Your move, creep. So last week, MGM announced that they were fast-tracking a reboot of the Child's Play franchise, even though the Child's Play franchise is still going on, so it's not really a reboot. They're just making a new movie with the same title. So that doesn't really make any sense, and they got a lot of heat for that. But today, they came out with a new announcement that Robocop is coming back in a new movie called Robocop Returns, and it's going to be directed by Neill Blomkamp. And that's not even the best part. The original Robocop was of course directed by Paul Verhoeven, and it was written by Ed Neumeyer and Michael Miner. It had quite a few sequels, but none of them were actually penned by Neumeyer or Miner. The second movie was actually co-written by Frank Miller and directed by Irvin Kershner, who directed the best Star Wars movie, The Empire Strikes Back. And while that creative team is nothing to scoff at, the reason that they were brought on board is kind of a bummer. Basically what happened is Paul Verhoeven really didn't want to make a sequel to Robocop, he just thought it wasn't necessary, and Ed Neumeyer was actually forced off the sequel project due to the writer's strike in 1988. But it all worked out because they went on to work on Starship Troopers together, which is one of the best and most misunderstood science fiction movies of all time. My big question though is, how did this new sequel even come to be? Because if you take a look at the details, it seems like it's too good to be true already. But if you dig a little deeper, it gets even better. The president of MGM, John Glickman, actually called Neumeyer and asked him to create a franchise potential film. Neumeyer responded that right when Trump was about to be elected, Glickman called him and said, "Did you actually predict in your sequel script that a reality star would run for president and win?" They had, so Neumeyer and Miner wrote a draft and gave one interview in Barbados, and he thinks that the only person who read it was Neill Blomkamp, and that set the whole thing in motion. Blomkamp, of course, had some really interesting things to say to Deadline about why he wants to make this movie. He said, "What I connected to as a kid has evolved over time. At first, the consumerism, materialism, and Reaganomics, that 80s theme of America on steroids, came through most strongly. But as I've gotten older, the part that really resonated with me is identity and the search for identity. As long as the human component is there, a good story can work at any time period. It's not locked into a specific place in history. What's so cool about Robocop is that, like good westerns, sci-fi films, and dramas, the human connection is really important to a story well told. What draws me now is someone searching for their lost identity, taken away at the hands of people who are benefiting from it, and seeing his memory jogged by events. That is the most captivating." So to get organized, what we have here is a direct sequel to Robocop, just like the new Halloween. It's retconning everything after the original Robocop, but I think that's okay in this situation, because if it's bad, we can just ignore it. We've got the original writers coming back, we've got Neill Blomkamp directing, and while I don't think the Child's Play reboot is gonna work out, I think this Robocop sequel, Robocop Returns, is gonna kick ass. I remember the first time I walked into Blockbuster and I cried my eyes out because I wasn't allowed to rent this R-rated movie. I of course persevered and eventually saw it a couple years later, and because I'm from just outside Detroit, this has always been one of my favorite movies. I used to watch it every weekend in the summer, and it would even make it into my must-watch list every Halloween, and it still does to this day. The questions it makes you ask yourself about corporate greed and corporate power and the power of the police are really important, and honestly they kind of shaped who I am today, and I'm really excited to see how the original writers and Blomkamp are going to tackle that in this new movie. I'm really excited about this, and I hope you guys are too. Something else that I'm really excited about that you may have noticed is this VHS copy of Adam Green's Victor Crowley, which is the fourth movie in the Hatchet franchise. So my friend Alex, who owns Broke Horror Fan, is putting these on sale this week, and I bought this. This isn't a sponsored thing or anything, and I just had to support him. There's 3 different copies that you can get. They all have different slip covers, and all of them are pretty cool no matter what one you get, and they're all reasonably priced. They're shipped in really nice bubble wrap, and I just think this is a really cool thing. And there is a VHS tape in here. I can show you. This is a very nice, high quality VHS tape, and it has a letter from Adam Green, but the VHS tape is awesome. I actually do have an HDMI VHS player that I'm probably gonna watch this movie in, because this movie is actually really good. So if you wanna check these out and buy one for yourself, go to witterentertainment.com, and I will link that down in the description. But yeah guys, let me know what you think of Robocop Returns down in the comments below. I'm really curious to hear who you think they'll cast as Robocop in this movie, and I guess I'm curious to hear what you think of them getting rid of every movie past the original Robocop. Again, I'm fine with it, but I know a lot of you guys have different opinions than me, and I'd love to hear them. But yeah guys, as always, my name is Jimmy Champagne, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.